Hi there, welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Cate, and it's about her eating and being going from being sort of rigid in how and when and where and what she eats to trying to be a little bit more flexible. So Cate says, how do you approach overeating within this new paradigm? And she actually says, how do you approach overeating as opposed to binge eating within this new paradigm? And to that, I'll just say, Cate, exact same way, no difference. So how do you approach overeating within this new paradigm? I've been a member of OA, which is Overeaters Anonymous, for 2.5 years, losing 9.5 stone. And for us Americans, that's about 130 pounds. I've recently started to find the program too rigid and like it's contributing to eating disorder thinking. However, when I get urges to eat more or between meals, it never feels like just thought. It often feels very physical, like real hunger. So having stopped being so rigid in abstinence, I find that overeating is very hard to avoid. So it's a great question, Cate, and I've received it many times, and not necessarily here. I don't know that I've addressed it, at least not in a while. But in my regular practice, back when I was working with lots of people with eating issues, I mean, every single day, all day, every day, pretty much, we would talk about this exactly, or these kinds of things. So very, very, very common. And just for everyone else listening, so that this can be applicable to you too, Overeaters Anonymous is a 12-step program, kind of similar to like an Alcoholics Anonymous or the other anonymous programs, where Overeaters Anonymous in particular, there's a very kind of rigid food plan, and there's certain foods, namely sugar and weight things, that are often completely off limits. And people, and forgive me, and this might not be 100% accurate to you, Cate, and what you're how you're doing it, but I know that for a lot of people, food is weighed and measured and decided ahead of time. This is what I'm going to eat, and I will not veer from this plan. So it is just by its very nature, it's very rigid, very, very rigid, very planned, very regimented. And so what you're saying, Cate, is totally common, because if you think about it, now setting aside how OA has helped you and how maybe it's helped others, just setting that aside for right now, it's not natural, obviously, to weigh and measure and think about and plan for every single thing we eat. It's not natural, like meaning that's not what we just naturally do. That's not what we need to do, to plan or weigh or measure or think about anything in life to this extent. And least of all, hunger, maybe not least of all, but included in that would be hunger and eating and all of that, because we come equipped with a system that is designed to do that for us. Now, again, I don't want to get too into the background. I know that there are things that help everyone. So wonderful. Find what helps you. I'm not at all saying there's anything across the board bad or unhelpful about anything. But where I want to kind of point is exactly what you said, Cate, is that sometimes when our mind is full of a lot of stuff, and that's all it is our mind is full of a lot of confusing thinking, and it looks really real to us. And we get really caught up in all that confusing thinking, and it can lead us to do anything in excess. So it leads us to eat in ways that aren't healthy. It leads us to do other things in ways that aren't healthy all the time. This is human, right? So we get caught up in our thinking, and that's, again, has nothing to do with food. It has nothing to do with your natural hunger signals not working. It has nothing to do with any of that you're broken in some way and that you need to think about and plan and weigh and measure food. It has nothing to do with that. No matter what it is, no matter what your habit or addiction or issue is, it's not about that thing. And here too, it's not about food, and it's not about not knowing when you're full and not knowing when to eat or any of that. It's about, in a really basic way, not feeling at home in our lives, which is normal too, right? Like we all don't feel at home and comfortable and at peace in our lives at times. And when that's the case for every one of us, our mind is full of all kinds of thoughts, our feelings are revving up, doing all kinds of things. We do what we can to feel better. So at some point, Cate, over the years, what you did to feel better was to eat. And and that can start to look like the issue. We miss the real issue, which is that we're just feeling natural, normal, healthy stuff that we're really afraid of. We're in a misunderstanding about our experience. We kind of miss that part because no one ever told us that. And we focus on, ooh, I have an eating issue. Ooh, I have anxiety. Ooh, I have a drinking issue. Ooh, I procrastinate. We focus on the end result, but that's not the problem. It never was, never has been. That end result thing is never the problem. It's the solution. It's our best attempt to help us get back home. Now, does it create problems? Yes. If you gained 130 pounds that you didn't need, that's going to create some problems for you. But eating isn't your problem. Eating was the solution to help your mind settle down, to help you get back to home, to help numb and help you feel better and all this stuff you were feeling that felt really real and personal and heavy and scary. So I just feel like we always need to start there to see that this wasn't a food issue to begin with, just like it's not an anything else issue to begin with. It's a way that we're trying to just help ourselves feel better. So what happens, Cate, is that you felt stuff, right? Like you turned to whatever you could to help get you back closer to home. Happened to be food in your case, so you happened to put on some weight. And then you lost it, and that looked like the issue, right? Is I have this food issue. So then OA, Overeaters Anonymous, comes in and says, hey, we help people with food addiction. You have food addiction. We help people with that. Here's how we do it. You're going to think about every single thing you ever put in your mouth. You're going to plan it ahead of time. You're going to call your sponsor and let them know. You're going to weigh it and measure it and never veer off your plan. And there you go. Your food issue is going to be solved. Well, kinda, maybe for a short period of time, except what you're running into is what almost everyone runs into, which is that this is so against what's natural. It takes so much effort, so much thinking, so much willpower to eat this way long term. Now, again, I'm not saying it wasn't helpful for you at the time. I know it helps people short term sometimes it doesn't. And I know people who have done this long term, but I can't tell you how many people I've seen who have tried to stick to that rigid of a plan for years and years and years, and they almost always end up right here. Wow, my mind is now obsessed with food, rather than the initial effect, which is that maybe it kind of quiets your mind around food because you know you're eating and it's off the table and you don't have to think about it. That's that kind of immediate bump that people often get. As soon as you get past that, everything in you, all of your common sense, all of your wisdom, all of your natural hunger signals, all of the natural, wise, intelligent ways that your mind and your body try to communicate with you and know how to help you, know how to feed you, know how to walk you through life. They're like, what the heck? Why is she or he overriding all of this in service of some food plan? In service of something that's written on a piece of paper that says, this is how I'll eat, no exceptions. It's not going to work long term for anyone, really. So you say it feels too rigid and like it's contributed to eating disordered thinking. Yeah, that's what it does, because we're thinking all the time about it. And then your mind just runs away with it, and it's incredibly rigid. So you say, when I get urges to eat, so it sounds like you're looking at loosening that up or being more flexible, which I think is a wonderful thing, because again, no matter how much weight you've gained and lost, no matter how long you've followed a food plan, you know, Cate, your body. Now you, Cate, in your intellect and your personality, you might say, I have no clue what to eat. I don't know when I'm hungry, and I would believe you. But that's just your mind talking. Your body knows when you're hungry and when you're not. You have a bigger wisdom, a bigger common sense that will steer you through this moment by moment. So right now, today, you might think, I have no clue what I'm going to eat for the week. But you know what? That's normal. I don't know what I'm going to eat for the week either. We don't need to. We don't need to know it ahead of time. You get familiar with this moment to moment to moment common sense and wisdom, just pure wisdom that walks us through life and walks us through decisions like this. And your body lets you know. And it might take a minute. Like, we don't just click into this and instantly we're like a normal kid or something who's never thought about food much. Like, it might take a minute. We might swing a little extreme at times, but that's what wants to happen. And that's alive and well in you, Cate, just like it is in everyone. It doesn't get broken. So all the time people used to tell me, oh, I've been eating so wonky for so long that I have no hunger signal, no natural hunger or fullness signals left. It doesn't work that way. They don't get broken. They don't get broken. Now, you might be in so much thinking about what you're eating that you don't hear them and you don't feel them. That happens. But as soon as your mind settles down, it just bounces right back. I promise you, it always works that way. So nothing's broken in you, and your body can start to regulate this and do this for you like it's meant to do quickly, really quickly. So she says, you say, Cate, when I get urges to eat more or between meals, it never feels like just thought. It feels very physical, like real hunger. It's not going to feel like that. Makes sense to me. Of course it does. But I want you to see that thought is giving you the experience of it. So we all feel hunger at times, and there's an infinite number of experiences of hunger that we can have. We could feel hunger where it just is like, oh, time to eat, I'm hungry. We can feel hunger where it feels like anxiety, where it feels like we're out of control, where our mind is all busy with it, where, it's uncomfortable, where it's boring. Hunger is just a physical thing, but it comes through thought 100% of the time. Every experience we ever have has to come through thought. So I know it doesn't, when people say, I think it doesn't feel like thought, it feels like hunger. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, Cate, but often when people say that, they have this idea that, oh, if it's thought, it should sound like a sentence in my head, or it should sound like words, like, I'm hungry. That's not really how thought works. I mean, sometimes there's thought that works that way, but thought is much bigger than these little sentences in our head. Thought is what we experience, period. So we experience thought through physical sensations, through hunger, through pain, through emotions. Every emotional reaction is thought. Everything we experience in life is thought with a capital T. Big thought, right? And it comes through us and comes to life within us as experience. And it's all thought. So it makes perfect sense that it doesn't feel like thought, it feels like hunger. Sure it does. You're absolutely right, but it is the same thing. It is thought. So see if that makes sense. It's thought bringing this experience of hunger within you, right? Now, we can have experiences of hunger that feel so many different ways. So just kind of see that, when we're hungry, we just kind of start to move toward having something to eat. It's really natural, right? But when you've been used to eating by a plan and a rule and a timetable, and it needs to be this and not that and all of that, you don't get to just kind of let that be natural. You've kind of, for 2.5 years that you've been in OA, you've kind of taken the natural piece off the table and gone by a plan. And so it's going to take a minute. Again, things get a little bit wonky. Your body says, well, she doesn't listen to us. She listens only to her head and to what the plan says. So it takes a little bit, but it doesn't take nearly as long as you think it will. So it makes perfect sense what you're saying, Cate. I've seen it with hundreds, if not thousands of people, really, where the plan goes away, the hunger comes up, the mind starts racing because your mind is used to just being told what to, here's what you're going to eat. But when you can see all of that, it's just this experience. It's all safe. It's all okay. It's all just your mind sort of new and adjusting and racing a bit and worried a bit. But there's no real problem because your body knows how to handle this. Your mind knows how to handle this. Your mind and your body, they kind of swing to these extremes a little bit, especially when they've been held under for a while. And that's kind of what these rigid plans do, is we just kind of check out and we just follow the rules. Well, there's a lot of common sense in there that wants to come up and lead the way. As soon as we remove the rules, it's just like a little kid, right? You give them a ton of strict rules, super strict and disciplined with them. Take the rules away. We all know this, right? The kid's going to go wild for a little while. But chances are, with the right amount of natural sort of structure, they go wild for a little while. They swing back in these different directions, and they kind of find themselves in the middle. And that's exactly what your mind and your body and everyone's mind and body are designed to do. Designed to do it. So you've been holding all this under, right? Saying, no, 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 I don't care what you think, body. I don't care what you think, mind. I'm just going to eat what I'm told to eat. And then, of course, there's going to be a swing in the other direction, but you don't have to worry about that so much because, one, it wants to come back and meet in the middle. It will balance itself out. And two, even when it's there, what it is, yes, you feel it as hunger, you feel it as emotions. It is this energy moving through you, and it knows what to do. It's just been pushed down, it knows how to come up and express itself. It's safe. It's okay. It's self-correcting. It's not going to hurt you in any way. So the more, Cate, you can begin to just listen to your body, get a little less rigid on the rules and what the piece of paper says for what you eat and how much things weigh and all of that stuff, and just start to listen to your body. It might be scary. It might take a little bit for it to kind of find its nice groove in the middle, but I absolutely promise you that nothing's broken. Nothing is not working properly. It's all going to come back the more you start to just kind of trust what's in there. So I hope this is helpful. I hope it's helpful for people even without food things, because this has nothing to do with food. Again, this isn't everything. It's like seeing that when we just get blind to our common sense and wisdom and we shoo them away and we say, nope, here's what I'm doing no matter what, it's not good for us. And we do this all the time. We do it with how we eat, and we do it with setting goals. This is what's going to happen, and I'll die trying if I have to. And then we're like dumb, because I just mean that in the most human, kindest way possible, but we get dumb because our common sense, we don't listen to common sense anymore. We have blinders on. We're like, no, here's how I eat. Here's my goal. Here's what's going to happen. You know how many people I've worked with who have this goal to make $1 million in their business this year or finish a marathon, and these poor people are sick to death with the flu, and they're still running their 12 miles. Or they, their marriage is falling apart, but darn it, they said they were going to make $1 million this year. Like, we just need to be a little fluid and loose in life, and let common sense and let things update and show us moment to moment what makes sense, rather than sticking to some rigid idea in our heads, no matter what that's about. So again, hopefully it's helpful to those of you with all kinds of issues, because we all find ourselves here. So thanks so much for listening. Send your questions to AskAmy at thelittleschoolofbigchange.com, and I'll be back here next Monday. Have a great week.